Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Peace, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. We have a special live tonight, and this live is going to be dedicated to my new channel, which is Connectionz, and a lot of y'all are familiar with that. I've got a lot of inboxes and DMs, people asking me, when are we going to start the Conscious Connectionz program? When are we going to get this thing jump started? So today will be one of the inaugural episodes where we are going to be interviewing a very dynamic poet and a very dynamic author. The sister is a mother as well. She has a lot to offer. So I want you to share this video, send this out to friends and family, people in your network and whatnot. And I also want you to follow this page, right? The page is Conscious Connectionz. I actually was going to go live on the page, but I didn't want to leave out the family that's over here. You know what I mean? So I'm going to post the page. I'm going to pin it. I need y'all to follow it because we're going to be going live from that page more often than before. You know what I'm saying? So I need y'all to tap in. Make sure you go and follow Conscious Connectionz and definitely tap in. Okay? So I believe my guest is in the building. Like I said, the conversation tonight is going to deal with affairs of the heart. We're going to be talking about relationships and things of that nature. But first and foremost, I'm going to introduce you guys to my guest. I have questions I'm going to be asking her. And, then we'll do a Q&A from the family and the audience, of course. Because I'm sure y'all going to have some questions as well. So we'll just do it like that. Before I even begin, shout out to Goldwater. Today is a 3-year anniversary. Peace to Brother 19 Keys and Blue Pillar, all right, for this dynamic product that they have. Shout out to Goldwater. It's definitely helped me with my with my studying and my research, keeping me sharp and whatnot. Shout out to all of my Haitians out there. Sapase, Maboule, you know what I mean? Today is Haitian Flag Day and whatnot. Any trolls that are in the building, you will be removed, okay? So, yes, you want a free Young Thug, go to Wright Street and bring your crypto wallet and your pocketbook and, put something on his books. But we're not going to go do the free Young Thug campaign in the comments section. How about that? Are you still on the fast? Still on the God Body fast? Beautiful, beautiful. Yes, that was a beautiful fast, and I look forward to many other fasts. Shout out to Akibalon. He's going to be on Clubhouse with Source Guard, and they're going to be doing a program tonight dealing with divine mathematics. And we will be coming to the family with our workshop, our class that'll be coming up at the end of this month. Look out for that. We will be beating on those drums. He has a beautiful title. So look forward to the good brother Al-Kibalon. I believe he'll be on YouTube tomorrow with me for Third Eye Thursdays. All right. So with that being said, I don't want to waste anyone's time because we will be in the building for a minute having this intense, deep conversation. And even before I begin, I just want to preface it for anybody that's unfamiliar with this platform and, Conscious Connectionz and why we're doing Conscious Connectionz. We are doing Conscious Connectionz because there's a humongous need for brothers and sisters in our community, in the conscious community, to begin to have these conversations about the affairs of the heart. There's healing that needs to take place. There's an understanding that needs to take place between the two genders. I cannot assume that we are all on YouTube, watching lectures and stuff like that, and we're figuring things out and getting all of the information that we need. So I'm taking it upon myself to build a platform that's going to deal with a topic that seems to be somewhat taboo, and that is not to degrade and not to downgrade and not to point fun or not to deal with, our toxicity. Rather, we're going to be dealing with some of the things that could bring us back together, right? Point out some of the quote unquote, not the differences, but what are some of the things that we see in each other that we can relate to? Okay. I want to take the road less traveled. I am not a part of the manosphere. I am not a part of what they call the red pill movement. I am not a part of anything that deals with any type of division or, pain. My pain body is not talking to you right now. I would consider myself 85% healed. You know what I'm talking about? And, I'm on a quest and I'm on a journey to complete that healing. And I'm of the understanding that the only way that the healing will be complete is by listening. Okay. Listening to the opposite and listening to people who look like me, my brothers and my sisters, being a student, asking the right questions, being very patient and understanding and whatnot. So this is not a debate platform. This is not, how do you rate yourself platform. No offense to anybody that runs those shows. But this is rather, a platform where we are going to have mature conversations and we're going to go deep diving. So if that's something that you're not used to and something that you're not, that you wanted to hear some information about what's going on in the fifth dimension and other things, metaphysical and the occult and whatnot, that won't be that. We won't be diving into that tonight. You know what I mean? We're going to be diving into something a little more intimate, a little more personal. And, I guarantee that you will walk away with something that you can chew on and with something that you could say, you know what? I feel like this is a good conversation. When is the next fast? I'll let you know tomorrow. I'll be able to let you know tomorrow. Okay. That we just finished the fast, the God Body Challenge just wrapped up. So I'll talk to Al Kibalon and see if he's going to initiate one for this month. Okay. We have about 2 more weeks left. So I'll let you know. Okay. So with that being said, let's go ahead and bring in my guest for the night. This sister hails out of Pennsylvania, I believe Philadelphia. She is an author, all right, of 5 books. Shout out to Richie Moon. Yes, peace to Richie Moon. She is an author of 5 books. She is also a beautiful poet. You know what I mean? She caught my attention by seeing some poetry that she had on Instagram, and it really moved me and whatnot. So I decided to reach out to her, and I'm going to share this sister in her light with you, with the platform, with the family. You know what I mean? Like we always do, let's treat our guest with, let's roll out the red carpet and give this guest her flowers and, give it the energy that she needs and whatnot. She's also a mother of 2. So you know what that is. You know what I mean? Let's give her flowers and let's have this dope conversation and let's have this conscious connection. Okay. So, Sister Maui, if you're in the building, send a request and I will open up the floor and bring you in. Okay. Shout out to Richie Moon. Make sure y'all follow the brother Richie Moon. And make sure throughout the night, I'm going to remind you, follow the Conscious Connection page. It's pinned at the bottom. That will be the platform that we're going to be doing more of these interviews and shows on. Okay. So make sure you guys check that out. Follow that channel. Okay. So y'all, let's go. Peace and love. How you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you for the lovely introduction that you gave me.
I had to dig in and pull it out. You know what I mean?
I was like, oh, this is a nice one. This is a nice introduction.
Definitely, definitely. First and foremost, before we even begin, can you please introduce yourself to the audience? Tell us a little bit about yourself. Just a little bit about your background and whatnot.
So my name is Amira, and everybody calls me Maui. I do poetry. I'm from Philadelphia. A lot of my poems and the books that I write are based around relationships. And my last book, So Much To Unlearn, is about all of the things that we need to unlearn. Coming into relationships with our baggage, with our trauma, and trying to unlearn that to give people a more healthy love. Even our children, they deserve a healthy love from us, and our friends and our partners, not only our partners.
Right.
And my background, other than that, I've been writing books for about maybe 4 years now. When I quit my post office job and decided I want to write books, this is what I love to do. I'm not supposed to be sorting mail, but
Oh, so
no,
you was in the post office? You was one responsible for the snail mail?
yes. And I told my boss, hey, I'm going to be leaving to go write books. And he was like, what? I was
Right,
like, yes, what I'm supposed to do. I don't think I'm supposed to be here.
right.
Um, and he could not stop laughing. He grabbed his boss, so I could tell his boss what
But
I had did. Yep. And he said, I want you to know that you're gonna have to go through this hiring process all over again when you need to come back.
that's right. But now
Yeah.
the irony in it all is that they're probably in the mail room mailing out your books.
I purposely dropped my books off to their office and shipped my books there.
Look at God working. You know what I'm talking about? First and foremost, so shout out to Philly. In this community that we represent, the conscious community and whatnot, we have a lot of adoration and love for Philadelphia. There has been some very great teachers that have come out of there. So shout out to the Philadelphia family. They've always treated me personally with a lot of love. And I'm from New York, so that's like our cousins and whatnot.
Right. We
And
love you.
thank you. We love you too. Um, real quickly, a lot of my friends are authors. A lot of my master teachers are authors and whatnot, and they talk about the joy of being authors. Let's not talk about the residuals that come with writing books and whatnot. But can you briefly just speak to the person who may be out there who may be in the same situation that you were in, and they're like, they have this journal, they have these ideas, but there's something that's not compelling them to make that hop off of the porch and get that book out there. Can you just briefly share with the family how relieving and how much freedom comes with writing a book?
So to anybody out there with a journal or anything like that, my first book is mainly my journal. It was just things that I've collected over the years, and
Right,
I wasn't sure that people are going to buy my book or people are going to love any of these things. But I was
right,
certain God would figure it out for me if I did this. But I know that even if it was one person, somebody needed to hear the things that I was talking about. I can help one person. So I wasn't really focused on dropping a book and being New York Times bestseller. I
right,
just like, you know what, I can be what I needed for somebody else. Like if this is what I needed, the type of person I needed growing up, or when I got out of a relationship, or for
mm,
my healing journey, if I could drop this book and one person read it, then I know that I'm living in my purpose.
right,
Um, and I feel like when you are purpose driven, everything else just everything else will fall into place. So then you waking up every day, even if I wasn't making any money, I would still be writing books. Like I still will be writing. So
right,
you making money is a plus, but you having your freedom, you feeling weightless by being able to release and write every single day and not hold on to these things. And then it's the cherry on top, the fact that you're able to help people with your story. So
right. So you would say that it's a form of therapy without
right,
actually having to be on the couch with somebody who would be considered a stranger. Your form of therapy by writing these books and speaking to the world has helped you in a way, correct?
100%.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I'm glad. I hope somebody out there who may be struggling with, releasing or expressing oneself, can take an example that this beautiful woman just shared with you and, you know, get your book started. You know what I mean? Just, you know, like she said, walk in your faith, walk in your purpose, and tell your story. Now, reading your books, you know, your works is a collections of experiences. You know, some of them are yours, some of them are others, and whatnot. But what I do know that it takes a level of vulnerability to express yourself. So, were you always comfortable being vulnerable and putting yourself out there?
So I'm actually, no, I'm not. And
Right,
I'm not comfortable, even when I'm performing, like I'm not comfortable doing any of these things. Okay. I'm just reminding myself that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
right,
Um, but I feel like growing up, I was not a vocal kid. I'm not a person that's talking a lot, but a lot of that is coming from a childhood where a lot of us feel like our voice isn't important or it doesn't matter. So
right, right,
being, we're not looking at it as a strength anymore. We're looking at it like I need to protect myself so I can't tell people how I really feel because they'll use it against me or something, or they'll throw it back in my face.
right.
Um, so me writing my poems to myself and journaling and all of these personal things, I like, and I would share it with my friends, and my friends will always say like, "Girl, I need to send this to somebody else, or my mama need to hear this." And I'd be like, "Don't send this to your mom. Like, don't show people this." But the
Mm-hmm.
other people would hear those things and say how somebody else needed to hear it, it definitely made me more comfortable with being vulnerable. Because I know that when I'm sharing, when I'm being vulnerable, when I'm expressing how I feel, I'm not the only, there's no possible way that I'm the only person who has felt this way. There's
Right.
no way.
Boosted your confidence in a sense.
Right. And a lot of the times when I would publish a book or a poem, I would feel like, well, what if nobody can relate to it? Or what if nobody likes it? Even if it's one person agreeing with me in the comments and they felt that way, then, well, I did my job because I'm still not alone. I feel like that's what people are afraid of more than anything when they're being vulnerable. That people won't understand how they feel.
Okay, so the flip side of that is you're not alone now. You have a large following, right?
Right.
And it seems that as you've gained your large following, you've even become more vulnerable because more books have come out, and it seems that you've been diving a little bit deeper. So, you know, how does that feel? Like now that you're you're being very transparent and you're almost, you know, you're letting it all out in front of this larger following. You know, is that a level of, you know, does it compel you to be even more vulnerable?
It compels me to be more vulnerable, but the flip side of that is like more opinions about my vulnerability. So
Right,
you are opening your platform that's supposed to bring people who can relate, but you are also opening it to way more opinions.
right.
And it takes a lot to share what you've been through or what you're going through. And when you do that, you're also opening up for criticism or people saying, well, girl, cry somewhere else, or nobody want to hear the sad stuff, or
Right.
God forbid a nice poem for men, then I'm gonna pick me and nobody want to hear that. So it becomes a little bit more difficult because
Right.
now it's way more criticism.
Right. Like you violating. How dare you try to give these Negroes some kind of fuel and whatnot? Don't you
Those
know?
they don't like them poems at all. Like, so I can help them like it though. I can help them
Hmm.
be hopeful.
Right.
Um, yeah, but
Right.
they're not poems at all. Only the men are. Um,
Okay.
and the women who know how to appreciate people, or they're hopeful too. The women
Right.
who are.
So do you get backlash from men when you write these poems for women that are like bigging them up and putting them on pedestals and whatnot?
So I feel 100%, and it's because they're all speaking from their personal experience.
Right.
I mean, like if I write a poem and it say, and I talk about the things that Black men deserve, we're gonna get Black women talking about, oh, they don't deserve anything. Like
And
they actually deserve less than. They're pieces of shit and all these things because of her experiences. And then
facts.
I'll make a poem about women and what we want. And the guys will be in the comments saying, "Nice guys finish last. Y'all don't want a nice guy. Y'all want this." So it's like everybody is speaking from what they've been through. So
Right.
I'm speak from my experience and for myself. And if you
Hmm.
agree and if you don't, That's it. If it don't apply, then just let it fly. So
Okay, okay. So I've been going through, your collections of books and everything. I've been looking into your catalog, and I just want to say that I love the concepts. It makes me want to read everything at once. You feel me? Like opening all of them and just multitasking. But I really want to know, and I want you to talk about the cheat codes. You know what I mean? Can you get into that book, and what inspired you to put that together?
so the cheat code, which is one of my favorite books, you hear a lot of the times people talk about how they don't feel like playing these games and stuff. And when it comes to relationships, when it comes to dating, and
Yes.
the cheat code is basically telling you like, well, you have to play these games because everybody around you is playing it. And if you don't play these games, you'll continue to be the one that's always heartbroken, that's always sad, that's always um, getting broken up with. And it's not saying take advantage of people, but it's teaching people how to be more wise with the decisions that they're making. So even if you are a loving and giving person that's affectionate and you meet a guy and that's how you want to act, it's okay to not always be available. Okay.
Yes.
We have to play the game of the no access game, because people don't appreciate having so much access to you. Okay. And then it's a chapter called Connect Four. And that's when women put two and two together and they get four, but you don't do anything. And now you're with a person who you want to change, but a person isn't going to change for what they don't value or appreciate because you never leave.
Mm.
And then it's a chapter about monopoly. And those are the people who got too much invested to actually leave and stop playing the game, because we got property together. We got children together.
Right.
So I can't just get up and leave. And she's giving me so many get out of jail free cards.
Right.
So inside the book is definitely a lot of different board games, elaborating why this is also how we treat relationships.
Okay, so you've been able to juxtapose the board games that we're familiar with and attribute it to the relationships, because in a sense that's almost like playing a game as well.
Right.
Interesting. Interesting. So
I
that would
think
be, huh?
it's like Connect Four, Monopoly, Hangman. It's a bunch of things that you grew up playing and
Mm.
correlated with the relationship that you're in.
Do you think from a standpoint, is that part of programming that many of us, because we heard about the Disney program that a
100.
lot of the princess programming and whatnot. So do you think like Mattel and some of these board games were some like life in all of these games? Now that you bring it up, the wheels in my head is spinning, and I'm like, I wonder if that's been programming us to, to approach relationships from a westernized standpoint. Because a good brother of mine, he calls romantics Roman antics. And he's like, their ideal, the westernized ideal of what love is that we learn from TV, soap operas, and things of that nature, that's not necessarily how our ancestors or even people in different countries that are not exposed to this type of programming, they don't move like that.
Right. So I definitely feel like it's a part of programming, especially those games like Life and Monopoly. Even if you ever played The Sims and stuff like that, which is a video game. And even with Disney, it's teaching you that love looks a certain way. And if it
Right.
doesn't look that way, then it can't possibly be that. And that's why it's so easy for people to walk away when things get hard or not try enough, because this doesn't feel like love. Like,
Right.
we don't go anywhere, we don't take trips, we ain't been to Turks. It doesn't matter if your partner can't even afford these things.
Right. Right.
This is what everybody on social media is doing, or this. No, we unconsciously compare our lives and our happiness and what our relationship should look like because of what we've seen, because of us seeing Cinderella, and then we seeing Cinderella again with Brandy, and then we love Brandy. So we done seen Cinderella about 4 times at that point. And we looking for this Prince Charming that has it all together, that will fight for us, that will do all of these things. And I'm not saying you shouldn't find somebody
That's right.
that
Right.
would. That's not what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
it's okay if it's not a picture perfect story. My love story doesn't look like everybody else's, and that's okay, because it's for me. It's not for anybody else to understand. It makes me happy and it satisfies me. And I really don't care what a Disney movie looks like or what other people have to say. And a lot of the times we allow people to put their perceptions on what we got going on and tell us, he don't love you, or she doesn't care about you, or it's about what makes you happy and what satisfies you, what makes you feel good. And as long as you with somebody that's pouring back into you, I feel like that's more important than it looking like a Snow White movie.
Right, right. To compare to the fantasy and whatnot.
Right. And most of those Disney movies, besides Princess and the Frog, they are all white women getting their fairy tales.
Right.
It's
Would you
not
nationalities love different?
honestly, I will say I do, but I'm gonna speak for myself personally and my experiences of being in relationships with Black men, because that's who I've been in relationships with and who I choose to be in relationships with. And at times where I couldn't show up in romance and love the way I was supposed to, and that's something I had to heal myself through and teach myself that
Right.
if I'm talking to my partner a certain way, if I'm emasculating my partner, I'm thinking back to, well, my dad is the first person I felt like disappointed me. And then
Right.
I'm growing hear my mom tell me how he not shit. Like, you see what I'm saying?
Right.
And then
Right.
I'm watching her be in relationships with people who can get the hell out. I don't need you. You ain't shit. So I'm listening, I'm hearing, and then when a person does one thing, oh, you're not shit. You could get out, and I don't need you, and stuff like that. And I can be here. I can do it all by myself. I don't want to do it by myself. I have no desire to do it by myself, because my partner's presence is appreciated, and I'm grateful to have it. But growing up and hearing those things, I can see why our love and us being in relationships with our partners and us not allowing them to lead and do certain things is because we're at places where we feel like we have to protect ourselves, because eventually you will let me down, or you won't show up for me, or you won't handle your responsibilities. So I can't even love you the way I want to or need to, because eventually you're going to turn out to be not shit, because my mom prepared me for this. And so did my grandma, because you inherit their trauma.
Right. Right.
And I feel like people don't even realize that is also a generational curse that they just trickle on down.
Mm.
I don't want to be a single mom working 2 jobs talking about I'm teaching my son to be a man. I can't do that.
Interesting. Interesting. I want to briefly get back to the creative process. As an author, just reading the comments, you're already inspiring a lot of people. I'm reading the comments and they're like, yo, she's making me want to go write. Thank you, sis. Da 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 da. So briefly, the Kendrick Lamar album just dropped, and it's a masterpiece in my humble opinion. He spoke about having writer's block for about 2 years and whatnot. So as a creative and as a writer, writer's block happens to all of us. I'm currently going through some of that. So as a creative and a writer, how do you overcome writer's block?
For me personally, when I normally have it, I try to write in a different location, because
Right.
sometimes my brain is just getting used to sitting at my desk and trying to come up with something creative when I'm looking at the same things. And I may be going through the same experience or something. So sometimes I may need to go to a park. I may need to go take a walk. I may need to not even focus on writing at all and just get that completely away from me and focus on something else to be inspired.
Right.
So I
Right.
personally is always changing my location, and I cannot write on my laptop. Like, I feel like my computer is intimidating to me, and if I have a pencil and a notebook and I'm feeling like a little kid again, then the writer block goes away. Like, I'm able to write in my journal, in my bed, or in the park, feeling like a little kid that is no pressure. It's no deadlines. It's no I need to drop this soon, nothing.
Right. You do voice notes?
So I do voice notes. If I'm driving in the car and I'm inspired to write a poem on a certain topic, I will
Right.
voice note, don't forget it, so I could come back later when I'm not driving.
Right. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. All right. So I want to know this, and this appears in your work a lot, right? You are Miss Self-Care. You actually have a podcast that deals with that. And before I even go into the question, I want to pin your website because I'm getting requests as to the website. So I want to pin your website so the family that's in the audience could be able to go ahead and do what they really want to do and that is to support you. So can you tell me what your website is briefly?
It's www.mauithewriter.com.
Okay, Maui the Writer.
Hey.
.com. All right. Maui the Writer. Gotcha. I'm going to pin that. And when I'm unpinning the Conscious Connection Instagram page, make sure y'all go and follow that page, because that will be the page that we're going to be going live from in the near future and whatnot. So I want to know, what does self-care mean to you? And I also want to know, is there a difference in self-care when you're single versus when you're in a relationship? Okay.
That's a good question. Nobody never asked me that before.
And what would you say self-care looks like in a mate? Because that's also something that I don't hear a lot about. What does self-care look like in a mate?
Okay. So for me, what self-care means to me is pouring up my own cup first. Okay. Because I
Yes.
know I'm a mom. I'm so many different, we all are different things to different people every single day.
Yes.
And for me, in order for me to show up for everybody the way I need to, with no resentment, I know that I have to take care of myself, no, regardless of what anybody may think of it. Please don't call me on a Sunday. That's self-care Sunday. Do not call me. And people know that. Don't call. She ain't gonna answer. I know I'm
Right.
not. And I'm not doing nothing, but my availability doesn't have nothing to do with you. It doesn't mean I'm available just because I'm not doing anything. And for me, it's like going to get candles, eating my breakfast by myself, binge watching my favorite show, taking a walk. Majority of the time it's taking a walk or going to go get candles or going to Ross and get me a new comforter, doing some laundry and laying on clean sheets, relaxing, not really worried about any type of responsibilities at all. And I know that I'm able to feel so good showing up for everybody around me because I take care of myself.
Yes.
I don't feel burnt out. I'm not yelling. I'm not having misplaced anger because I feel like everybody's taken from me and I'm showing up for everybody else. Nobody's showing up for me. Anything that anybody around me gives me is appreciated and is extra because I showed up for myself first, and I show up for myself every day. So the people around me, how they love me, the things that they say to me, the things they do for me is all extra, and I'm able to appreciate it. I'm not feeling like nobody doesn't do as much as I'm not really counting favors because I am who I need to be for myself. So
Right.
my baby. And being single and self-caring is a little bit different because you have responsibilities to show up for your partner and make sure that they are loved and taken care of.
Right.
But being with you, I'm assuming that I have the time to also do what I need to do and be an individual and also love you.
Right.
I still have self-care days. I'm a mom. I'm in a relationship. But
Right.
if you need me to cook dinner and you want me to cook dinner, then you're going to have to leave me alone on Sundays. And it's not, you can't ask me to do anything, but just
Right.
limit your request. Because
Right.
this is part of how I'm going to be able to show up for you all week. I'm going to be able
I don't mean to cut into your thing, but would your love language be, on that Sunday, that down day, that your significant other, brings you flowers or does something very sentimental for you?
I would love breakfast and dinner.
Here's a little bit.
Yes.
Okay.
So on those,
I'm out with that one right there.
yeah. So flowers, breakfast in bed. You could also, I feel like if there's anybody whose partner appreciates self-care, you can be involved with their self-care day by doing those things like you just said. Because now I'm loving on myself and I'm feeling loved by you.
Right.
That definitely makes anybody feel good. And like when we were talking, it's so important for me to make sure that I'm remaining an individual. I don't want to pour everything that I have into my relationship and then have nothing. I want to be able to do the same things that I was doing before I met my partner.
Right.
And it's not that I don't love you. I don't want to do things with you, but this is my thing. Okay. There are going to be things that I share with you and things that we do together. but my whole life doesn't have to revolve around being up under you, being in your skin, and we do everything together. No,
Right.
absolutely. And okay.
What?
Now I was
No.
going to say, as
Yeah.
far as it looks like in my partner, I would want them to do the same thing.
Right.
Like my partner to say, no, you can't go. Like I'm going by myself. Oh,
Right.
excuse me, I'm not invited. Oh, all right. My partner self-cares by eating breakfast alone. And I'm always like, oh, well, how was the breakfast? And they be like, delicious. And they don't they don't feel bad for not bringing me. They don't feel any kind of way. They say, oh, it was good. You should go and try it.
Right. Right. I
You
was
should go to that spot.
I was watching a live that you did with a brother. I don't know his name, but shout out to him because it was a beautiful conversation that you two had. And in that live, you delved into the topic about the difference between women when they get in relationship and men when they get in relationships. And you brought up the fact that women could lose themselves in a relationship with a man and somewhat, drop a lot of the things that they used to do, like going out, girls' night out, the girls' trip and everything, hanging out with the homegirls, being on the phone with the homegirls all the time, watching certain things, binge watching. And but for the brothers or for the men, sometimes it's like they're not necessarily going to conform like that. They're not going to drop going to play basketball on Thursdays and
Right.
whatnot. They're not going to stop going to the club, hanging with the fellas and whatnot. So can you briefly just touch on that? Is that something that you have come to terms with? Is that something that you still kind of like, is that a struggle and whatnot? Or
It used to be a struggle for me.
okay.
I definitely feel like I've been in relationships where I poured so much into my relationship, neglecting my social life, my friends, my family, not wanting to do nothing, want to do everything with my man. And then when we break up, I'm learning myself and who I am all over again because I've been being somebody's girlfriend for 2 years.
Right.
But I will say what I feel like is the difference with me and with all of the partners I've been in, because the men don't do that. We feel like we have to be up under our partners because we will lose something. They move
Right.
like they have more security at home. They move as if I can do this because my home is solidified. Like she's not going nowhere.
Right.
We don't leave the home to make sure he's not going nowhere. So he's going to the gym. He's playing basketball. He's taking trips with his friends. That's why he doesn't complain about as much things as we do. Okay, everything is bothering us because I need this to be right. I need this to be perfect because this is where I always am. I'm always up under you. Okay, I'm noticing everything about you and everything that you do and don't do because I'm up under you 24/7. And then as soon as we get out of a relationship, we'll hear our girlfriends say, "Oh, now you want to come back around." Oh, now you wanna hang. Our girlfriends can tell when we're going through something with our man, because now we're coming outside. And
Yeah,
it's crazy
girl, what you doing? They like, wait, what?
like, are you allowed outside?
Parole. I thought you was on supervised parole, sister.
Right. Oh, I thought you was on punishment. You couldn't come out. And it's like, girl, whatever. You know I can come out. I don't be wanting to. You just making up excuses. But now that I realize that you being an individual is a part of what makes your partner attracted to you. The things that you do for yourself, the things that you have your own life outside of them. They like those things. Nobody really wants somebody up under them 24/7. And then you have something to talk about at the end of the day, because you hear a lot of people that live together saying, "Oh, but we don't spend time together." The guy always feel like, "Oh, we live together. We do spend time together. We're in the same house."
Right. We wake up together. We go to sleep together.
Right. The woman feels like, "Oh, we need to live together and we need to also do things together every day."
Right.
So
right.
once I start realizing that, let me make sure I have my own things to do and at least go to the gym, go for a walk, go to the library. Let me get out the house and not seem like I'm just being his shadow. It gives you more stuff to talk about. I feel like your partner also admires you more.
Right. Would you put that in the category of self-love? Like, is that empowering for you?
100%. Because
So
I also feel like how much you love yourself will be a reflection of the partner that you with, as far as like what you tolerate, what you accept, who you would choose. The more that you are showing up and pouring into yourself, the more selective you would be in who you choose as a partner. I feel like if you really didn't take care of yourself, or you are okay with losing your individuality, then it will let me know that you are also okay with loving your partner way more than you love yourself. And that's not something I'm 100% comfortable with, because I don't want nobody feeling like I love you way more than I love me, and I would choose you before I chose myself.
interesting, interesting. Thank you for that. And judging from the comments, you know, people are definitely in tune with those answers. And I do, for anybody that has any questions, I would kindly ask you, let's just wait to the end of our discourse, and then we'll definitely take some Q&A from the audience. So moving forward, I know that you're a mom, right? And congratulations on your new addition, okay?
Thank
Can you give any advice to moms and dads out there when it comes to parenting and dating?
If they trying to be are they a single parent trying to date?
Let's go with let's go with both. Let's go with single parents and the parents who like, yo, we just had this new addition, but we still need to go dating. You feel me? Like we still this shit fresh.
So to this, let's go with the single people first, because
Yes, do that.
the
It's
weekend,
reality. It is.
yeah,
It is.
the weekends is going to be your best friend, okay?
Right.
Because the kid is going with the other parent on the weekend, so we're
Right.
going to have it happen and do what it do on the weekend. But I feel like for me with dating and being a mom, one thing that I always paid attention to was um, there are men who will date the single version of you, but not the single mom version. Um, and I never wanted to make myself so available that a person liked me for just being a single woman, not a single mom. But when as women, when we like somebody, we don't realize that we're always dropping our kid off to a babysitter, or he doesn't know you to say, oh no, I'm with my child tonight, I can't come, or you know,
Right.
I can't, we have movie night, or we're doing something, or I had to pick my kid up from school. I'm a mom first. Before I'm a woman that's single and dating, I have responsibilities. So
Right.
I feel like that's important. And when you're dating, I always feel like talking to somebody that shows a little interest in you being a parent should be something that's a green flag for you. Like, oh, what did y'all do today?
Yeah.
How old is your kid? People don't even realize they're dating people who don't even know how old their kid is. And it's not being, I've had people say, oh, that's weird, I don't want nobody asking questions about my kid. And it's like, if you eventually see this getting serious and your child will be around them, like, how would that be weird of them just asking, like, how old are your children? Or what do y'all do for fun? It's a super random, like, regular question. And you got to realize when people like you, they'll make a conversation out of anything because they want to talk to you. Like, they want to talk about something with you.
Right. I just, real quick, I want to add on. I would say as a parent that, you know, we have this radar to whereas, you know, it has to be authentic when, you know, because one of my love languages is definitely, you know, feeling like if I'm dating, the woman she cares about the children, you know, and she's asking it from a genuine place
Right.
for the sake of, you know, so how's your daughter? You know what I mean? Like, you know. So I just feel like when it's genuine, it hits differently.
And I feel like you would have to be able to tell those things yourself. Like,
Well, you learn,
you be able to feel it yourself to know if it's genuine. You
right?
can't just hop to anybody that's asking about your kids thinking that they care, because they don't. It's going to be people who ask and they only want to have sex with you. So if definitely you using your intuition to be able to feel like this don't feel right. So the weekends and I feel like as parents, me personally, I wanted to make sure I was being intentional dating. Like, I'm not out here just
Right.
have and stuff. Like, I'm a mom. Like, I'm not out here playing these little games of I'm just doing what I want. And no,
You
because
mean and not out here on your city girl?
yeah, I'm not on my city girl. I wasn't being on my city girl because I'm a parent. and you know that these people will be around your child. If it gets serious, they will be around your child.
Right,
And
right.
people and their person, and I don't always look at how they treat me, but how do they treat other people? How do they treat themselves? And what kind of character do they have? Would this person be a person I would be comfortable being around my child? Because you could treat me wonderful, but the way you treat others and the things that you stand for, or the way that you carry yourself, or the things that you get into, is not a person I would be comfortable being around my child, even if we are having fun together. So
Right.
I feel like making sure that the decisions that you make when it comes to these partners and you dating, you got the best interest in your child's first. So that's something I feel like is really important. And also remembering that you deserve to be happy. Because I feel like a lot of these single parents, they feel so guilty of the relationship with the dad or mom didn't work out, and I'm not dating until they're 18. Don't deprive yourself of being happy and being loved.
Right.
Because person, I'm pretty sure they have whisked off into a sunset and they are living their best life. So don't deprive yourself of being happy.
And would you say that that is also a part of self-care and self-love?
Yes, you allowing yourself to receive the love that you give to everybody else. I definitely feel like that is a part of self-care. A lot of people build unhealthy relationships with their children because they don't have a partner. So now you are codependent on your child and
Right.
doing everything for them when you deserve to be loved by somebody. We all deserve the other kind of love, you know?
That would you know, I could that would be a perfect segue to kind of jump into the next question about attachment, right? And guilt. You know, ever so often, you know, one of the reasons why people are experiencing toxicity is because the fact that, you know, we haven't been necessarily taught how to detach, you know, peacefully and safely from these relationships. You know, the bond that's created when there's a child involved, or the bonds that are created when, you know, there's a lot of intimacy in the relationship. When that bond or when that relationship comes to an end, you know, it depends on how it ends, because some people just can't let go. You know,
Right.
they mastered the art of detachment, you know, so it turns into either, you know, it could go to the furthest extreme of stalking, right? Somebody stalking your page. You know, there's the furthest extreme is like revenge porn. You know, dudes are leaking news and whatnot. You know, all the, you know, they got their Finsta accounts and they trolling you and stuff like that. You know, what would be your advice, right? Or what would be your approach to ending a relationship that just didn't work out? We're not talking about a tumultuous affair where there was infidelity involved or things of that nature. Just something that kind of like fizzed out and served its course and whatnot. What's a great way to just like nip it in the bud and keep it moving? And the second question is, do you still remain in contact with that person? You know, not to say that y'all on the phone every day and whatnot, but just, you know, a healthy type of thing, like checking up on them every now and then. You might inbox them, you know, see how they're doing, put, you know, hit like on a picture, but, you know, not necessarily block them and remove them out of your life and just ignore them and whatnot. What would you say would be a healthy way to do that?
So I feel like, for one, a lot of us wait until a person, we wait until it's so far on the deep end to even leave.
Yes.
Okay. Instead of realizing that, because we be knowing what's not going to work. Like, we be knowing in our hearts that this is not where I'm supposed to be, or it's not going to work out.
Right.
While we are personally feeling this way, even if you want to leave a person and separate and do it peacefully and gracefully, if you knew this all the time and this person didn't feel that way, and this person been doing their best with you and loving and doing extra, and then you try to just let it go peacefully, that other person is going to feel like, I've wasted my time. I've invested so much into this. Like, I want you to feel the pain and the hurt that you're putting me through right now. And that's why that revenge comes. That's why they feel like I need payback, because the goal is to make you hurt the way I'm hurting. I want you to feel how I feel. So
Sure.
it's been times where I felt that same way. And then afterwards, I realized this person is never going to feel the way I feel. And now I'm acting out of character, and I'm being a person that I normally am not. To try to get you to feel something that you don't even feel. And the fact that you don't even seem as hurt as me is making me even more upset. Okay? You don't seem like this is bothering you at all. And I feel like when things don't work out, what has helped me is like, for one, reminding myself, like, what did I learn? Not just because it's going to go in the book, but what did I learn from this experience? Like, what did this person teach me so I don't do this again, or I can do something different about myself next time around? And being certain, I feel like when the people just can't let go, that's been me before too. Like, you just can't let go. You just can't move on. You just keep going back to the same person. I had to constantly remind myself that anything that's taken away from me will be replaced with something better. Even if I didn't personally believe it all the time, even if I felt like I wasn't good enough to have something better at that moment, like, that was something I had to continue to tell myself, is that if I was loved once, I can be loved again. Especially if the person ain't loved me like that. I'm pretty sure even if it's a person that loved me a little bit more, that's still progress. A lot of times people are getting out these relationships and they feel like, I'm never going to find something like this again, or I'm going to be by myself, or nobody is going to want me, or I don't even know where to go, or they lost themselves so much into a relationship. They don't have no friends. They don't have no family. You're the only person I have, and I don't even have you no more. And now I have nothing. And a lot of the times, those are the people that feel like, I can't live without my partner. All I have is you.
Right.
And just like we talked about, that's why it's so important to pour into yourself and to be that individual and to show up for you first. So we not in places sad and hurting and depressed, and we having those kind of thoughts that how can I live without this person? Or why, or let me leak these photos so nobody else will want to be with them. Let me embarrass them and humiliate them.
Right. Preach. Oh, man. So I noticed that some of your writings is about being brave and, just being brave in your relationships, not holding on to things or being afraid to start over. And healing is not hiding from pain, loving without fear of being hurt, and so on. Were you always brave? And if not, right, what was the turning point for you? Like, when did that kick in?
I feel like I was not always brave. That's for one. I'm definitely a person that would be considered a hopeless romantic. I love love.
No
But
doubt.
when I get there, I'm waiting for something to go wrong. So I'm not even able to enjoy the moment of anything because I'm waiting for this person to do something, anything. Because I'm walking around with trauma and I'm operating from that place. I'm operating from a place of eventually I will be disappointed or I will get hurt. And those are, and with learning and growing and allowing myself to like be vulnerable and to not be afraid no more. That's something that it took me a long time to do. There was whatever is going to happen is going to happen. It's nothing that I'm going to be able to do to stop anything. All I can do is make sure that I'm showing up and loving my partner the way that they said they desire to be loved, and making sure that it doesn't take away from the way I love myself. But as far as like being afraid to start over and letting go, I can't do that no more. It's been times where we afraid to let go because we don't know what's going to be next. Whether we got a kid together, whether they helping us with the bills. It's a bunch of dynamics, and I understand that a lot of people feel like, well, it's not as easy as you make it seem, just leaving, and you don't understand, you don't get it. No, I get it. I know it's not easy. And
Fire, you feel me? When you're in that moment, it's easier said than done. People will be like, greater later. You be like, look, I'm on the stove cooking right now. What are you talking about? Like, it's unbearable. I'm a hopeless romantic myself. I love hard. So the breakups, I'm a Scorpio. So,
oh, okay,
we burn and we have
y'all
to.
loving deep.
Huh?
I said when y'all love is real deep. It's some deep love.
As we mature in our scorpionic ways and whatnot, we learn how to deal with it better. You feel me? We learn how to deal with it better because we could go off of the deep end. We could become infatuated to, possessiveness and all of these other things. But when I got the gem that you don't own anyone, right? When somebody was when I caught that gem and I
Right.
really tested it, like fam, you don't own nobody. You don't even own your children. You feel me? Like you only own you. You're here by yourself. This is your personal journey. Yes, you're tethered to others and whatnot, but you don't own them. So that was very helpful for me. You know what I mean? And I was able to use that as some medicine to be like, whatever it is, it is. So now I'm of the mind state of seasons and reasons that people
Like that.
and people also come into your life for reasons and whatnot. So like you were saying earlier, yeah, we have all experienced loss, but what is the L? And the L that we're taking, that's the lesson. So if you
Right.
can't learn, you're gonna ultimately repeat it, because I've met lovers who I'm like, damn, you remind me of Barquisha times. You know what I mean? You Barquisha, Keisha, and Shaniqua, and you
Right.
know, you'll get sent like a package deal of all of the lessons that you did not learn in one person now. And then when you don't learn that lesson, it's even, you go even deeper in your pain and whatnot. So it's definitely a lesson that you know, these relationships are here to strengthen us and to make better versions of ourselves, because that fire, or once you get through that pressure, you can ultimately become the diamond that you know, that you're meant to
Right.
be.
What are you, what basically, what are you learning? Like that is your mission here, to learn, like you said. And
Right.
like what you're saying, you don't own anybody. People don't realize that love is freedom. Love is me loving you exactly who you are and not pulling you away from who you are, the things that you enjoy. I should be able to enjoy you with you. I shouldn't be coming into your life and trying to be your parole officer. Where are you going? What you doing? Who you with? None of those things. If you would like to share out of respect for your partner to let them know where you at and what you're doing, that's different. But I'm not about to be clocking somebody. I'm not going to be trying to make them feel like this is a prison, or I'm going to control the narrative so that I don't get hurt, or that so it could turn out the way I wanted to turn out. Because
Right.
if
Because
you somewhere I call you 100 times, it ain't gonna stop you from doing what you want to do.
it is
You,
not. It
it
is
ain't. You're gonna put your phone on silent.
It's not. You know what I mean? When you pulled in a certain direction, you're gonna go. You know, and that's that. The magnetism from the other party is not strong enough to hold you. You
Right.
know, you're gonna drift. All right. So next question. I want to dovetail and segue into this next question, because it's basically a continuation of what we just said. You know, I noticed that you're heavily tapped into people. People are definitely tapped into you. You have a large following. You know, people feel like they know you based off of your transparency and the fact that you welcome them into your relationship, into your life and whatnot. And you're very relatable, right? And part of your message is about letting people know that they're not alone in what they're going through or what they experience. But on the flip side, you talk about solitude and learning so much about yourself when you found comfort and peace in being alone. So, briefly, can you elaborate on that or give insight, you know, or how did you get to that point? Like, how did you come to that understanding?
So, it was after I got out of a relationship that I was in for a while, and after and losing myself in the relationship and trying to get to know myself all over again. And in my singleness, I will realize like I'm texting people I don't really like. I'm going on dates with people I know I don't really like that. But I need company. I was dependent on like having people around me. I'm going out with my girlfriends every day of the week, different girlfriends every day. And I realized I'm still feeling alone and I'm still feeling empty. And I'm just using distractions at this point. But I don't want to be in the house because there's nothing to do in the house, but it's nothing to do there because I don't know what makes myself happy. I don't know her, and I've never taken the time to get to know her, because I've always been who I needed to be for somebody else. I was always somebody's girlfriend or somebody else showing up for somebody else. So, and deciding, you know what, I'm not going out this week, and I don't want to talk to nobody. I'm going to be in this house trying to figure out what this girl likes, because I don't like being around her because I don't know her and I don't know how to make her happy. So
Mm,
with that, that's when I start painting and I start going out alone. And I'm like, oh, she likes eating by herself. Like, she likes getting candles. These are things that she enjoys. I didn't know that about her, but I've never taken that time to try. I always wanted to be what somebody else wanted me to be. So in that time of being by myself and figuring those things out, that's how I learned to enjoy all of those different things and realizing that this is peaceful. And now the people who are around me are the people that I chose. My loneliness doesn't make decisions for me. It's not because it's 2:00 in the morning and I need intimacy. It's not because I'm bored and I just want to hang out with any old friend. Everybody around me, I have hand selected and chosen. Nothing in my life or no people in my life I settled for just because I want some company. And I feel like that's the best thing about learning how to be by yourself and appreciating that solitude and learning how to make yourself happy is that everybody around you is who you want to be around.
Right. Shout out to the little one right there.
She's been sitting here chilling for a while.
I know. I love it. Man, let's all give Sister Maui a resounding round of applause. You feel me? You know, these were some very personal questions and things of that nature, and I love the way that you were gracefully handling it. May I ask what your zodiac sign is?
Yes, I am an Aries and a Scorpio moon.
Yes.
Do I give Aries?
You do not give Aries, but then you do. You know, my moon is in Aries. You know, Aries. My 2-year-old son is an Aries. I was in a relationship with an Aries. You know, y'all are some very loving people, but you know, and I love the way that y'all able to interpret emotions and stuff like that. But when that fire comes out, oh Lord, yeah, that part.
Passion. It's a blazing passion.
Yeah, that part. You know what I'm saying? But I kind of want to wind it down. I want to go into. I want to give the family and the audience the ability to ask a few questions. Are you cool with that?
Yep.
Okay, great. Before we do that, I do want to make a comment about, you know, I'm resetting the room because I see that there's more people that hopped in there. If you may not be familiar with this sister, she is a 4-time author, 4 or 5?
4.
She is a 4-time author. She is a poet, okay? Very talented. I encourage everybody to follow her. You know, tap into her podcast. She has events coming up. We're going to get into that as well. And I noticed that one of your books is actually an ebook on how to publish a book, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I like the fact that, you know, you are helping people in their journey as you navigate through your own journey. And that's beautiful. We need more of that. You know, can you let them know what book that is? You know, because we did open up talking about people self-publishing and getting their ideas out of their heads and whatnot. So please let them know what book that is so they could get it.
So if you go on my website, I'm going to make sure that it's, when we get off the live, I'm going to make sure that I have them live on the website too and stock. It is a self-publishing ebook on the publisher that I use, how to get your ISBN number that goes in the back of your book, how to copyright your book, even talking about writer's block, just a bunch of different advice. Anything that people have ever DM'd me and asked me, I make sure that I answered every last question inside of the book so that they can publish exactly the way I publish. And if they want to publish it another way, like going through Amazon or any other thing, I also talk about how to do that too, to get their books on different platforms.
Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that because ever so often, you know, we think that we have to be perfect and have it all together in order to help someone else. You feel? And, you know, I love the fact that you know, you're here for us and you're willing to assist those on the journey while you're still on the journey. And it really encourages creators such as myself to be like, yo, I'm going to join that journey.
Right.
I know that I see that you have some events coming up, some dating, some single events, some couple.
Mm-hmm.
So what made you want to host single events and speed dating? I know that we need more of that, and
Right.
I can't wait to be able to do that for my audience. I'm gonna have such a ball, such a fun time.
Yes. So fun. Like,
You know what I mean? I just want to see, you know what I mean? I'm gonna be on the stage watching people slide out together and be like, touchdown. You know what I mean?
right. Especially when, like you said, you're a hopeless romantic. So we love just seeing people, oh, look at them flirting together, like seeing somebody.
Yes.
I always wanted to do a speed dating event. And it's something I will always talk about. And now that I'm having one in Philly, and now everybody's dropping the location of where they live and saying, oh, you need to also do one here and bring it here. But what made me want to do it is you always hear women say, there's no guys out here, or I can't find a man, or it's the men complaining about the type of woman they be running into. Okay, now I'm putting you in a room
Right.
with people that are your age, who are working professionals, who are into certain things similar to what you into. If you can't find nobody in this room, not even one person.
Right, then what?
We need to go home and go look in the mirror and do a little bit of self-reflecting.
Mm-hmm. That part.
Okay, because it might not be everybody else.
That part.
Because you are from with a bunch of amazing people. You can't find that one person that's interesting.
Yeah. So we got Kentucky in the building. We got Houston in the building. We're not gonna do the roll call, y'all, right now. A lot of y'all here, and I can't shout out every single state. She is in the Philadelphia area. Let them know the date and the address, where it is and whatnot, because you know flights are kind of cheap these days. If you got some mileage plans and whatnot, so I'm sure that they'll pull up.
Because the singles mixer is May 28th. These events are all at the same location. So if you go on my bio and click the on my page and click the links, it'll be the exact location. I don't want to just say the location that I'm not sure.
Okay.
And the speed dating is June 7th, I believe. And then the third event is for couples. It's just a date night for them to enjoy some music and eat dinner and enjoy some wine and food from Black-owned businesses and just have a good night. I wanted to send end the 3-part event with something for couples so that they don't feel left out.
I know. Thank you.
Yeah. Sometimes you need something interesting to do for a date night, something new.
Right. Okay, that's gonna be great. Shout out to Black and Nobel out there in Philadelphia. Earlier, they were one of the first businesses, Black-owned businesses that we went out there to build with and to make moves and to support, and they supported us. So shout out to Hakeem, Tyson, and all of the family over there. Let's go ahead and get some questions. Let's field some questions from the audience. Okay. I think we have one. Let me go ahead and pull that up. All right. There's a question, and it says, "I've been exclusively dating for 3 months. How can I ensure that I don't lose myself in him? And is it important to solidify an actual relationship?" Mind you, 3 months, 90 days.
Okay. So continue to be an individual and do the things that you love to do. Okay. She's saying exclusively, so I'm assuming that this is the only person that she talks to.
Right.
The way I date is, and I talk about this in my book, I date the way I consider dating properly, which would be dating similar to how men date. Whereas though men just, they might get 3 people numbers that they end up with who they wanted to be with.
Yes,
so I don't just date and talk to one person and then I put all my eggs in that basket. I'm dating for compatibility, for similarities, for interests. I'm not dating to just be playing around because this one guy I met liked me. And as far as solidifying a relationship, unfortunately, I believe that is up to the man on if he wants to be with you. We can't really tell men, like we can express our intentions, which should also be expressed in the beginning. But again, when you first meet someone and you ask them what their intentions are, they can say, "Oh, I'm looking to be in a relationship," and it does not mean that they want to be in a relationship with you, because just like you're dating them, they're dating you too. And I might not be your cup of tea. I might not be somebody that you see a future with. But I can express that I want to be serious with you. So you knew what it was. You know where this is going with me, and you know how I feel about you.
Right.
But you can't tell him that we're in a relationship now. He needs to be able to make that decision. We can't just claim we can't do that.
I'll be right back. I'm going to the store. I'm going to the Philly cheesecake. I'll be right back.
Right.
Like, yeah, we dating now. You, my husband. Yeah.
Right. No.
For anybody taking about 2 or 3 questions, it would be best if you put it in the icon that has the bubble with the question mark in the middle, because the chat room is moving so fast. I might miss it if you put it in the chat.
Another thing I want to include is dating means going on dates. Sex is not included in my mind when you're dating. I also wanted to add that in there. Dating is getting to know a person. Okay,
now, so when sex is included on the menu, right? When we get dessert before the entree, what is that called?
That's just a situation, and that's just you doing what you want to do.
But does it take away from the fact that we can still get to know each other and still explore, our likes and dislikes and whatnot, and before we solidify things and make it exclusive?
So you could do it that way. That is not the way I prefer to do it. And the only reason why is I feel like so much energy gets exchanged when you have sex that I don't want good sex with you to make me blinded by character flaws that you have, because I enjoyed the sex so much. Okay. So
with Tantra?
Can you repeat that?
Are you familiar with Tantra or Tantric?
No.
Okay. Right. It's something that I would recommend couples to try to explore before intercourse or intimacy, because to be honest with you, the courting period is one of the magical periods that you are going to experience, as if you take it further and get into a relationship. Like, you'll always go back and reminisce on that time of courting and whatnot. To me, it's powerful, it's magical. You really could solidify that bond with your mate. It makes even intercourse a lot better, right? I take the approach of a top-down, intimacy versus what I've done over the past, which was a bottom-up. And that would be, a bottom-up would be really anchored in lust. You feel me? I'm going from the root chakra up, trying to hit the heart chakra, and then trying to go into your mind and whatnot. My whole thing is, if we approach it from a mental space, you know what I mean? If we could fall in love through the mind first, and then,
right.
And then when we ultimately get to our physical attraction and whatnot, it will basically lock it in a lot stronger than if it was just, one of those first night, wham, bam, I see it back, you know what I mean? One of those things.
Right.
Because a lot of us have, we know that leads us into one of the WYA Texas at the late night, a pattern where you just become run.
And people don't realize that sometimes in the courting process, by them having sex so fast, the courting process kind of goes away, because now you have sex and you're trying to figure out, why do you keep going over their house and they're not taking you anywhere?
Right.
And it's because all the fun is in their bedroom now. They don't want to take you anywhere. Like, but I feel like also expressing your boundaries and those things in the beginning, so that a person won't feel like, oh, well, we had sex the first night. Why do you want to be courted now? You never was that type of person. You changing, you acting different. No, express it in the beginning so that you can know that this person doesn't want to court me, or at least go for walks on the park, because there's a lot of things that you can do to make a person feel good, and it does not cost that much money. So if a person doesn't want to do the bare minimum to get to know you,
Right. Then what is
Even
that?
if it's going to ice cream.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Definitely. Now we got a lot of questions. Let me let me get into these questions so we could get to it. Somebody wants to know, Stay Gold 33 wants to know what resources such as books, therapists, or public speakers help you the most in your healing process.
Um, so I do read a lot of books, and I will say that growing up, when my mom would put me on punishment, she would have me read self-help books as punishment. So I definitely think that that translated to me going to college and wanting to be a psychologist, me wanting to do certain things, because what she felt like was torture for me was actually really enjoyable. Um, so I've read like Bell Hooks All About Love. I just finished The Sacred Woman.
Okay, shout out to Queen of Four.
Yes. Um, Vibrate Higher Daily is something I just finished reading it. Um, The Way of the Superior Man. Sometimes I read books that other people recommend to me, and sometimes I read books and I really enjoyed that book. And it's
That was
not
a
um and Man Heal Thyself is something I just finished reading too. It's not my book, but
yes, yes, that's a powerful book as well. I tap that.
yeah. So I definitely I enjoy reading books that are for men, and that also helps in the way I view certain situations and the way I feel like I can go about certain situations. And I feel like another book I really enjoyed was the Four Agreements, even though it's a very short read.
Yes, that's another
And
book I've been to
yeah,
recently.
it's a short read, but it's definitely it's a lot of gems in there.
It's gems and yes, it's gem laden and whatnot. So
Yeah.
yeah, thank you for that answer. Um, how long should you date someone before becoming exclusive? Tierra next door would like to know.
So I feel like you should date for what's comfortable for you, because there's no timeline on it at all. But
Hmm.
I feel like date when you feel like the feelings are mutual, not on both sides. I feel like let's discuss like being serious. Like we're doing everything together. I done met your mom. It would be weird if we've been doing this for 7 months and you're still telling me that you don't want a relationship. At that point, I feel like you want your cake and eat it too. But
Right.
it's also your responsibility as the other person to make sure that you're not allowing a person to receive all of the benefits of being in a relationship, and you're asking questions like, when are we going to be exclusive, or when are we going to be serious, when they're getting all of the benefits from being with you right now. Like
Mm,
what would change that make me want to be with you when you're doing everything I would want you to do right now, and you're not my girlfriend.
right. Right. Excellent. All right. For Dimples, can you rephrase that into a question, and I will ask it as a question. Um, Lie to You wants to know what makes you feel and or know you were in tune / love with yourself. When I speak on love, it's attached to someone or something I know I care for myself more than others. But level of love, I'm still pondering, which I'm also confused because I can say I'm in love with someone. That was kind of, you might have to rephrase that as well because it was a little run on in a sense.
Yeah, I don't understand that. I want to make sure I answer properly.
Right. If both parties could rephrase their questions, I'll re-ask it. In the meantime, between time, I'm going to put out the names of your books for my audience who may be unfamiliar, so they could be aware of what's awaiting them. You know what I mean? And the great reads that the great pieces of work that you put together. So the first book that she has is called So Much to Unlearn. It's a collection of short stories, poems, quotes on self-love, toxic relationships, growing, letting go, and unlearning. We're all on a journey to unlearn so that we can start viewing our life in a more healthier way. That's the one book. The second book is The Cheat Code, and that's a book about breaking down the games that people play consciously and unconsciously in relationships to protect our hearts or to take advantage of someone. Okay. The third book is The Lotus, The Emergence of Beauty from the Mud, a collection of poetry, advice, and stories gathered by Maui, the writer. And The Lotus 2 is Road Trip from Mud to Love, continuing the journey of learning, growing, and discovering the art of loving ourselves. And then the cherry on the top, y'all, is the podcast, which is Self-Care and Chill podcast, not Netflix and Chill. We don't, they raised their subscription and we left them. We're doing Self-Care and Chill podcast. Get your daily dose of self-love, relationships, healing, and comedy. Going through life and knowing that you're not alone and you're not the only person who is experiencing what you're feeling right now is one of the best parts of this journey. And I definitely want to say thank you for putting those books together and, and helping so many people, who I know a lot of us are going through things, but one of the anchors that I know that are weighing us down is the affairs of the heart. You know what I mean? Is the fact that we're not loved and we don't see love when we look in the mirror and whatnot. Some of us are hurting from our experiences through either childhood, adulthood, our teenage. Like I remember my teenage love, the first one who broke my heart. You feel me? I couldn't eat Thanksgiving dinner. I was destroyed. I was like 11. You know what I'm saying? I was going through it. And I just wanted. I just in this world that's so desensitized and unforgiving and whatnot, we need more voices like this. So I just want to say salute for doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure you get the inboxes and people say, yo, thank you for helping me. And thank you for, what you've done. You have no idea while you were asleep or while you were tending to your baby, your information in your books and whatnot was out there doing the work on its own. And that's a powerful thing. And whatnot. So we got one last question. I'm gonna let you go ahead and tend to the little ones, but this has been a very powerful conversation. And
thank you for having me.
Yes,
that's questions that I haven't been asked before because normally I'm on the live answering questions that I get asked all the time.
Right.
So this was very good.
Appreciate that. All right, Danielle Janae wants to know, being such a big and gravitating author, how do you protect your energy from those negative ones? Do you block them?
I'm the block queen.
Block party?
It's a block party, yes, 100%. I block people and I know how to tune people out. Nothing has, I know if I give it energy, I give it life. I know how to control my day. When I wake up, I decide to be intentional with my day and I'm going to have a great day. And I know that the person that can mess it up is what I give my attention to. So when it comes to Instagram comments, I respond to the first couple of nice ones and then I don't really read the comments after that. So this is also me protecting my energy. I get on there because I want, and I say thank you to like the first 20 people because I want people to know that I'm appreciative and I'm grateful. But then I don't really get back into the comments because
wise. That's very wise. That's very wise.
I know that somehow that there's going to be negativity. So
Lamar said, can't please everybody. You know, not please everybody. Dope. And the last question, I know I said that was the last one, brief one. Somebody asked, is there a book to deal with breaking up with a narcissist? I'm sure one of your books could be a recommendation. Yes.
I would recommend So Much to Unlearn, but I did a podcast episode called Was I With a Narcissist? And I'm breaking down the definition also. And because I want to make sure that I'm speaking factual on the quality, letting people understand what the qualities of a narcissist is. And I don't want anybody who tunes into that episode to be offended by my perception of me just asking questions on if a person was with a narcissist or do we overstay our welcome with people that don't want to be with us.
Right.
So that was the first question I asked on the podcast. And then I let people determine at the end if they were with a narcissist, because I still give advice on what they should do and how to love themselves and let go and separate from this person. But I definitely don't want people to just be naming and labeling people,
Right.
giving them a label.
Definitely, definitely. Well, with that being said, I definitely want to say big thank you. I really enjoyed myself tonight. I learned a lot. I'm locked in. You feel me? I'm definitely gonna, let a lot of my network know about who you are, what you're doing, the greatness that you represent. And I'm rooting for you. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Definitely, definitely.
I enjoyed this conversation today.
Yeah, yeah, the conscious connections. This is an endeavor that I'm very passionate and enthusiastic about. So just, I feel real good about this, you know what I mean? This is gonna be a great summer. The object is heal and to bring people together and to put some of these fires out and whatnot. And to ultimately, bring family back and bring these star seeds back into a healthy environment. You know what I mean? That is the ultimate goal. So we move in with intention right now.
I love that.
All right. So if you want to leave the audience with anything, please do. Okay.
Um, what do you want me to leave them with? A poem? Can I do a poem?
I mean, can a bird fly? Can a fish swim? You know what I'm saying? Of course.
Uh, Let me see. Okay. I'm not perfect, but I do my best. I'm formerly known as the girl who would always give till she had nothing left, but these days I'm selfish and I'm learning and I'm growing. I don't attach myself to things that don't align with my purpose. Is F you or I love you is balanced. It's falling down 10 times and still getting up and trying. It's texting your friends great advice, even when you in the bed crying. It's
Mm.
seeing God and everything around me, but praying today, don't nobody try me. It's calmness with no ego. It's looking for love inside of yourself instead of expecting to receive it from other people. It's lonely, but it's worth it. Nobody said it was going to be easy to break generational curses. It's still loving. And it's forgiving when they ain't even sorry. It's setting boundaries for yourself and still not feeling sorry. It's wild and free like jungles where wildflowers grow. And it's forgiving people for what they do not know. And that is it. So,
Oh, okay, okay. Let's drop the bomb.
gave y'all a self-love poem.
Nah, that was fire. That was fire. That was fire. We got bars. You know what I'm saying? And Philadelphia, remember, that's the poetry capital. That's Jilly from the Block and all of that. Like, got known for. So you keeping that flame lit. You know what I mean? When's the album dropping?
Everybody keeps telling me to drop an album. And I just started doing my poems on soft beat, soft, calm.
On lo-fi?
Like just, I can't really ride a beat, so it needs to be just.
All right, you need me to add Black Thought? You need me to add him? Black Thought? I'm gonna add him. I'm gonna add him and be like, yo, fam. You know what I'm saying? Come on, book her some studio time.
Okay.
Nah, it can happen. You feel me? It can happen. I feel like, I'm not gonna get all in your journey, but that would be a natural progression, in my humble opinion. On the 432 Hertz beats. Do you listen to Londrell? That's one of my favorite artists when it comes to that work.
I follow him, and I think I've listened to him on maybe somebody had him on a song, and I'm like, who is this? This is so relaxing. So I tune into his lives a lot.
Oh,
And
not. I mean, the lives are great. Go to Apple Music when you get off of here.
I'll listen to it.
Huh?
Okay, so I never listened to his album or nothing like that. I didn't know that.
This is a gift from me to you because another Aries gifted me the magic of Londrell. So when you're done with this, you know what I mean? Please do yourself that favor and pull them up on Apple Music or whatever your streaming platforms, and you're
Right.
gonna be pleasantly surprised. Also Cleo Soul and whatnot. But he great poetry from the heart on those good soundscapes and whatnot, and I think that'll be an inspiration.
Okay, so as soon as I'm off here, that's gonna be the first thing I tune into because I'm pulling it up on my laptop on my Apple Music app.
Man, he did what
I
he.
gift.
People are saying who? Londrelle, Londrelle. Londrelle. He's the truth with it. You know what I mean? So flowing on the beat though, I don't even think that's what you need to do. It's not even about the. That's what I'm saying. Londrella show you. It's not even the flow right now. It's just being on the beat. It's just breathing on it. You know.
Present.
Yeah, my brother's able to do that. I can't do that. When I get on a beat, I just start bebopping. I start flowing. But he's able to talk to the beat without the rhythm,
Right.
without the mix and everything. And then yeah, so that's an art, you know. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I will be saved. I might even upload it to my YouTube. But once again, I want to say thank you. Thank you for blessing us, you know what I mean, with your presence and your energy and your light. And you know, it was the whole everybody loved you tonight. You know what I mean? I didn't see one negative comment. I didn't have to block nobody. So that was a good indication that you're doing your thing. All right. So once again, thank you and congratulations on a new one. Tell your king I said salute and
I,
everything. All right? Huh?
I said I sure will.
Yes, yes. All right. Peace and love.
Peace and love. I appreciate you.
No doubt. Likewise.